Jennifer Lopez gets dragged in new interview. Fans are shocked. Jennifer Lopez, the multi-talented performer known for her chart-topping hits, iconic acting roles, and ever-glamorous lifestyle, has always been a favorite in the public eye. Her most recent interview, however, left supporters stunned, disappointed, even enraged. In an open discussion meant to expose more aspects of her personal and professional life, Lopez's comments have caused debate since many of her admirers feel deceived and others doubt her honesty. Let's explore the 7 main parts of this interview that have startled the globe and explain why Jennifer Lopez is being dragged unlike never before. 1. Relationship mistakes and shifting of blame. Jennifer Lopez's interview revealed, among other startling aspects, her attitude toward her former relationships. Although many would have expected a star of her kind to recognize the complexity of public relationships, Lopez's remarks seemed to gently point the finger for her failed marriages, especially Ben Affleck and Mark Anthony. Although not said specifically, her representation of these relationships as failures, mostly resulting from the conduct of the other party instead of owning any responsibility, came across as tone-deaf. Those who have watched J.Lo through thick and thin were surprised by this lack of introspection. Her remarks seemed to ignore the mutual responsibility that usually results in the death of relationships in a time when many are pushing accountability and openness. To those who have seen her grow personally over the years, her assertion that she had always been the one to offer everything in her marriages appeared hypocritical without noting her own flaws or faults. Furthermore, her denial of her personal responsibility for the breakdown of her former relationships has turned off supporters who value her vulnerability and also her strength. Presenting herself as a martyr in her failed relationships runs the danger of losing the compassion and respect of people who saw her as more approachable than merely a celebrity. 2. Behind the mask, the real Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez is well known for her amazing presence. Confident, independent, and strong, J.Lo has always presented an ideal of excellence. She surprisingly admitted in this interview, nevertheless, that the public version of her was really only a facade. In what some considered as an attempt at vulnerability, Lopez said that the actual Jennifer Lopez was considerably more insecure and doubtful than her perfect image would suggest. Although some supporters valued the candor, others felt let down by this admission. Many thought part of Lopez's appeal was her reputation as an unquenchable natural force. Some felt disappointed to admit that public opinion of her was far from reality. Her supporters had loved her for years, after all, believing in the strength and grace of the Jennifer Lopez brand. The problem was not so much her sensitivity, but rather her expression of it. Though Lopez seemed to be trying to present herself as someone who had been misinterpreted, she alienated the very people who had believed in the real version of her, the one that seemed to never waver. She so made herself vulnerable to charges of dishonesty and dishonesty and dishonesty. 3. Work ethic versus privilege, a fine harmony. She subtly attacked other performers in the business, suggesting that some have been less worthy of their accomplishment. In an effort to emphasize her commitment to her trade, she suggested that other stars, especially those from underprivileged origins or less-known lineages, might not have worked as hard, by attributing most of her achievement to diligence and will. Many of the fans connected with this, since they were quick to note that Lopez's career has been shaped in some degree by her privilege. From her early dancing days to winning big acting jobs, Lopez has had access to industry contacts and riches that have given her tremendous chances. Given the hardships many other gifted musicians endure without the same assistance, her disdain for the part privilege has played in her ascent to popularity came out as tone-deaf. Many in the celebrity business live distant from simple reality, hence fans were quick to remind Lopez. Although diligence is crucial, many feel that the networks of power and influence she has had access to help her succeed. Many viewers found it challenging to fit the story of a self-made lady against the reality of her wealthy Hollywood status. 4th, standard of beauty and body image. Supporting the old story, long a symbol of everlasting beauty and physical perfection, Jennifer Lopez. Her remarks about aging and attractiveness in Hollywood, however, in this interview were divisive. She seemed to focus especially on the fact that a woman's success in the entertainment business depends mostly on her appearance, especially youth, while talking about the demands imposed on women. Given the body-positive movement's strength right now, Lopez's remarks about aging in Hollywood seem dubious. She looked to be suggesting that she is still important despite her age, as she can keep her young look, therefore unintentionally supporting the negative idea that a woman's value in Hollywood is only related with her attractiveness. For many, this seemed as a lost chance for Lopez to utilize her position to advocate self-acceptance for women of different ages and body kinds. Rather than embracing her own aging process as part of a natural, empowering path, she concentrated on keeping her young appearance, therefore supporting erroneous beauty standards that many people are trying to destroy. 5. Neglect of other artists, a lack of courtesy. Although Jennifer Lopez has long been regarded as a pathfinder in the music and film sectors, in this interview she attacked some of her contemporaries. Lopez said things that would be considered as contempt of the efforts of others, particularly those of people working in music. She is quite entitled to be proud of her own work, but her devaluation evaluation of the efforts of other musicians offended many people. Her remarks seemed to imply that the success of other musicians was more likely the result of circumstance than of talent or diligence. Admirers of other musicians in the business objected, believing that Lopez's comments minimized the diligence and commitment of their preferred talents. Coming from someone who has always supported diversity and inclusiveness, both in her music and personal life, this kind of contemptuous attitude seemed particularly inappropriate. Given that Lopez herself had gained from a combination of luck, timing, and business contacts, the disdain for the successes of other musicians also felt out of place. Many supporters would find it rude and hypocritical to ascribe her achievement just to diligence while discounting the hardships of others. 6. Honoring Hollywood's privilege by missing the point. The interview's another major source of conflict was Jennifer Lopez's denial of her Hollywood privilege. Although Lopez talked about her challenges and the roadblocks she encountered, she did not adequately address the reality of the systematic benefits she has seen along her career. Among her demographic in Hollywood, Lopez, a Latina woman, has been among the most successful and public personalities. She has, however, also benefited from being a light-skinned Latina, a feature many supporters noted as glaringly absent from her story. Hollywood has long battled colorism and the marginalization of darker-skinned Latinas and other people of color, but Lopez's neglect of her own privilege in this setting left many feeling as though she was ignoring vital facets of her own success. Ignoring the industry's structural problems, Lopez lost a chance to talk about how her particular position in Hollywood may be utilized to promote more equality and representation. Rather, she presented herself as a self-made success, a posture many considered as limited and insufficient. 7. The fallout. Separated fan base. Jennifer Lopez's remarks caused a huge reaction, as predicted, especially from the fans that had backed her for years. On social media, the responses were quick and severe. Supporters both defended and attacked her. Long admirers of her strength and sensitivity now felt let down by her seeming indifference to the hardships of others. Some supporters defended her right to express her truth and discounted the detractors as unduly sensitive. But more of her fans expressed their dismay, believing Lopez had turned away from the very individuals who drove her to superstardom. Many thought that this interview exposed an unidentifiable form of the lady they had once loved, someone more concerned in safeguarding her brand and image than in truly modestly connecting with her followers. Conclusion. Jennifer Lopez's most recent interview generated a lot of debate since her remarks on relationships, work ethic, privilege, and beauty standards really offended some of her followers. Although some may see this as a chance for Lopez to display a more vulnerable side, others have attacked her for seeming out of touch and discounting of the hardships of others. It's unclear how Lopez will react and whether she can win back the confidence of her once loyal supporters as the reaction mounts. Clearly, though, the interview has clouded her carefully constructed public image and left many wondering whether the Jennifer Lopez they once loved really is the one she presents herself as. Let us know in the comments what you think about the Jennifer Lopez gets dragged in new interview. Fans are shocked. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more captivating content on our YouTube channel.